7 days in Seoul, South Korea. I'm Chris, this is Topher. We just got back from a week in Seoul. We wanted to share with you what we did in 7 days and 5 minutes. So here we go. Our first night, we checked into the Hotel Lotte Seoul in the center of Myeong Dong, Seoul, the heart of shopping. We had BimBimBap for dinner, went for a night's sleep. Day number 2, we are here. We're dressed in Hanboks today, and we're visiting the National Palace. Pretty cool. Renting and wearing the Hanboks was a pretty neat experience. There's a ton of vendors that rent them around the palace. I'll have a whole video about renting Hanboks later. OC Girl wore one too. Hers was a bit fancier than mine. All that wandering around the National Palace left us hungry, so we went to the quintessential Korean meal, Korean barbecue. Pretty tasty. Tteokbokki, please. We were still left a little hungry after the Korean barbecue, so we wandered out into Myeong Dong for some Korean street food and had the very classic tteokbokki, mochi rice cakes in a spicy sauce. Hot. And even some drinks, too. After street food, we headed up to Namsan Peak, taking a ride on the cable car to watch the sunset. From Namsan Peak, you can get great views of all of Seoul down below, and it's a really popular spot for lovers. They buy a lock, write their name on it, and lock it on the railings to store their love away forever. At the top, there was a photo machine where you could take a photo with your favorite K-pop star. I picked Psy. That was pretty fun. My photo with Psy. Day number 3, we headed out to Namdaemun Market. This is Korea's largest traditional market. It's named after the Namdaemun Gate, the great south gate to the old walled city of Seoul. The market is right next to it. We ate lunch here on chopped Noodle Alley, an alley full of noodle vendors famous for their chopped noodle soup. And you sit there right in front of their open kitchen, right in front of all the ingredients. That's a lot of kimchi. Namdaemun Market has 2 other food alleys. This one, the food alley, and another one called Fish Stew Alley. Care to guess what they sell on that alley? After lunch, the market got really busy because it's a weekend, so we decided it was time to go. We then took a stroll on the Seoullo. It's this old elevated train track that's been turned into an elevated park and sidewalk. It's kind of like New York City's High Line, just with a lot less people. And here we walked over to Seoul Station to check out Seoul's main train station. Not because we wanted to take a train, but because we wanted to visit Lotte Mart. It's basically the Korean version of Walmart. They have a huge grocery store here. We headed back to our hotel to drop off all our purchases and saw this from our room. 2 really big flags walking down the street. For the evening, we headed over to the Damdaemun neighborhood. It has this really neat design plaza that looks like a spaceship is landing. The old Seoul City Wall runs through here, and next to it, they had this art display of these LED flowers that light up at night. There's tons of shops in this area, and they stay open, many of them, until 5 in the morning. Lots of street food here, too. This is chicken on a stick with some cheese sauce. Day number 4, we spent the morning exploring the shops of Myeong Dong and the street markets, and then for lunch, we headed into Golden Farm for some more Korean barbecue. This one, in addition to having pork, also had beef cooked over charcoal. And of course, the best thing to wash down that beef is some tasty and spicy kimchi. For dessert afterwards, we had some Korean shave ice shaved into a melon. After lunch, we walked over to INSADONG, which is home to Seoul's most Korean street. As I was walking around the street, I was greeted by some friendly students who offered to show me how to write my name in Korean. And there it is, Karisu. All right, now you know, and now I know. So you can see right here that there's a Starbucks, and the Starbucks actually doesn't say Starbucks. It's written out in Korean. And if we take a look this way, it's a neat alley. I mean, even though it's pedestrianized, there's a few cars on it, so you do have to be a little bit careful. We quenched our afternoon thirst in a traditional Korean tea house in a 100-year-old building. This neighborhood is famous for these old traditional tea houses. We then headed up the hill from INSADONG and the Royal Palace to the BUKCHON Hanok village. This village is home to 900 traditional Korean houses known as Hanok. This is a popular neighborhood just to walk around, explore, and feel in the old Seoul. It's also a popular place to wear hanboks, those traditional Korean attire you saw me wearing on day 1. All that hill climbing left us hungry for some KFC. No, not Kentucky Fried Chicken, but Korean fried chicken. It's moist, nice garlicky flavor, but, you know, best of all, Korean fried chicken, it doesn't come with mashed potatoes. What does it come with? Yes, of course, kimchi right here. Oh, that's too big of a piece for me to chomp on video. Kimchi, a great side dish for your chicken. And then we headed outside for some street food, some fish cake on a stick. It's spicy. You know, I'm having an interesting dialogue with OC Girl that runs the camera on this about it being sweet too. And actually, it's kind of sweet. And you can get past the spice. I couldn't the first few things I ate, but I actually can taste a little bit of sweet in there. And then for dessert, we got some rose-shaped ice cream. This is pretty cool. Vanilla yogurt, strawberry gelato. It's actually a really good strawberry. Tastes like real strawberry. I like it. Day 5 was a little bit of a crappy weather day for us with lots of rain in the forecast. We spent most of it inside. We started the morning at Lotte Sky, this observatory on the 120th floor of the new Lotte Tower, and the views here were pretty impressive even on a lousy weather day. If you look down, you can see this is actually overglassed. You can see all the way down at the bottom there. Pretty freaky. If you don't like heights, you might not like the scene of you going down 119 floors. Just below the observatory is Lotte World. It's like Seoul's version of Disneyland, and in the middle of it is an ice rink. We didn't go in, but we just admired it from here, where it's free. Then we headed over to SM Town. K-pop is so popular in Seoul that there's a whole museum just dedicated to K-pop from this one record label. Topher was totally there having wait, not there. Topher's totally here having coffee right now with these four. SM Town is attached to the COEX shopping mall. It's the largest shopping mall in Korea, and it's home to this really neat Starfield library with one of the world's largest collections of magazines. For an afternoon pick-me-up, we stopped at Krispy Kreme and had a nacho cheese donut. I like it. It's strange, but I like it. I mean, the combination of sweetness plus nacho cheese. Then we headed over to Gangnam, made popular by Psy's song Gangnam Style, but it was raining too much, so about as far as we made it there was the underground shopping complex, but it was pretty busy at evening rush hour. For dinner, we went back to Myeongdong and had what? Some more Korean barbecue. Day 6, Topher took us back to the BUKCHON Hanok village where we were earlier on a walking tour to see more of these old houses. We picked up a walking tour map from the Friendly Seoul tour guides and realized there was so much more to see in this neighborhood. All that walking left us hungry. To continue our Seoul street food quest, we went over to the GWANCJANG traditional market where they specialize in mung bean pancake. They also specialize in baby octopus that's almost live. We didn't eat this, but we did watch some other people eat it. See, look, it's still moving on their plate. Ew. For the evening, we headed over to Hongdae. This is near one of Seoul's major universities, so it's one of Seoul's youngest and hippest neighborhoods. Lots of shopping and restaurants here. It's also a popular place for busking, street performing of what? K-pop dance, of course. Hongdae ended up being one of our favorite neighborhoods for shopping and eating. We just enjoyed the vibe here, not nearly as hectic as Myeongdong. Next time, we'd like to spend more time exploring Hongdae. Day 7, we're on a bus. Where are we going? We're going to North Korea. Well, not quite. Well, kind of. Actually, a full day tour to the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone. The border between South and North Korea is the world's most militarized border, and you can take a tour there. The day tours bring you into this area, the Joint Security Area. That building in the back, that's North Korea with a North Korean tour group on top of it. We were escorted here by US Army and Korean Army. It was an amazing experience and definitely one of the highlights of our trip. There's also an observatory they take you to that you can see into North Korean cities. This town they call Propaganda Village. It was built just to show how great North Korea is, although nobody actually lives in it. For dinner after the DMZ tour, what did we have? You probably could have guessed it by now, some more Korean barbecue. And our departure day, before our 5 p.m. flight out of Seoul Incheon Airport, we went to see the changing of the guards at the Royal Palace. They do this every hour from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This one is the gate opening ceremony. Well, if you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy watching some other videos from our series on Seoul, South Korea. You can click either of them to watch or find links in the description below. Well, we won't say goodbye because we'll see you in the next video.
See you soon.